Welcome to the SCP Foundation Files Explored. Today we'll be taking a look at a group of interest to the SCP Foundation and ourselves at the SCP Foundation Files Explored. These groups, just a brief overview, are groups of individuals and organisations that have anomalous objects either in their possession, they utilise anomalous objects for financial or political gain, or in the case of today's subject, for what appears to be artistic and entertainment purposes. The group is called Are We Cool Yet? Ordinarily, this is a question that most people would ask in their lifetime when it comes to school or anything like that. This group, well, existing on the fringes of the avant-garde internationally, they have their origins back in the 19th century and early 20th century artistic movements. They also have been expanding their information and knowledge base around the anomalies that began to show up in those two time periods. On the whole, the group can be considered to be mischievous troublemakers. To be honest, I would highly agree, but most of their live stage shows or live art galleries or anything along those lines often can result in death or injury or mental instabilities to the general public, and as a result the SCP Foundation has made it their mission, their utmost and extremely important mission I might add, to isolate this group and finally put an end to them. After all, the SCP Foundation is there to preserve normality. With Are We Cool, normality is just a word that they will use on one of their posters. On the whole, Are We Cool Yet is a decentralized cell system. Basically, if you think the resistance back in World War II, each group has their own organizational structure ranging from some who are art masters who control the cell. Others operate like lone wolves. In some regards, it's almost terroristic in its nature. In fact, it's one reason why the SCP Foundation has been so eager to isolate them. The leader in these groups is more often called a lead critic or mastermind of art. These individuals are usually the ones who can create the anomalous objects with far greater ease and subsequently teach the others within this cell or those cells to also create the anomalous objects. There's a vast list of objects attached to this group. Trust me, it's expansive. I will link the SCP Wiki page as an overview down below in the description. Trust me, it's a fantastic read for you. Approximately every 10 years, the largest and most visible gathering of Are We Cool Yet artists in any place, public or otherwise, is the Somnaus Duvet Marquise, a grand exhibition held every 10 years since 1874. It's quite a substantial time period to hold these grand art exhibitions. The groups, or in the know, can gather to view and scrutinise a selection of some of the finest works in anomalous art produced over the previous decade. To have a work accepted is considered by those who care about such things at least, is considered to be one of the greatest achievements one could achieve in this community. It brings their creativity of anomalous objects to the other cells and members of this grand and heavily decentralized group. The SCP Foundation is desperate to stop them, and on several occasions they have acquired members. One such occasion, Classified, was arrested and isolated at Site Classified. There was a brief interview exchange between him and Dr. Classified. The overview is quite simply this. He was quite a smug individual, and felt that his art deserved to be viewed by the public, in spite of how dangerous it was. The doctor pointed out that the use of this particular SCP on a human being resulted in ever-degrading physical and cognitive capabilities. The individual expressed extreme discomfort and extreme anger that the SCP Foundation would willingly use such an object on a human being. In fact, he got quite rowdy, for want of a better term, and was hauled off. The expression of distaste and distrust of the SCP Foundation is perhaps without merit, at least in my eyes. They should be submitting themselves for assessment, and if they are found to be anomalous in themselves, or potentially dangerous by creating anomalous objects, then I, for one, feel that they would be safer perhaps off the streets and not so much in the public eye. This is one man's humble opinion of